thanks to the poll given by you guys at the end of last year, back in 2024, I asked you guys whether you would like to see a sequel to the Rotovisor video. And that was also because I was working on some stuff in light of two new cards that have recently come out that will impact us, one in DZBTO 6 and the other from our tournament promo wave in January-February. The question is, did I and Bushiroad accidentally save Rotovisor? Hey, what's going on, guys? I'm Mr. here. Today I am back to cover Rotovisor again for a second time. Normally I don't do videos unless there's something major to talk about. Either that or I'm extremely passionate about, say, 1 to 2 cards that come out. For Rotovisor, however, I believe that we need to reopen discussion as soon as possible. It was unfortunate in a very weird sense that right after I finished that video, they announced that, the next wave of tournament promos for January-February in Japan is coming out, and in the January wave, we got a Rotovisor promo, and you guys may have already seen a sneak peek of this guy, either from attending the Japanese streams, or if you actually saw my recent post with Night Rose, where I actually won some of these promos as a prize, which made it very easy for me to finish the rest of the deck, because, my expenses are covered by my skill. But the problem is that, I still wasn't sure. I mean, the promo does things, yeah, but, what exactly does it offer the deck? That really leads us to the question, where exactly did we leave off? Well, the last time we talked about Rotovisor, and that is in the previous video, the links for that are in the description below, please check that out. We mentioned that the deck has a few weaknesses. One, the deck is lacking about 8 to 10 slots of cards that do not actually contribute to the game plan or are being stuffed with generics to try and go through the deck. Two, the deck has a severe lack of numbers going first. It doesn't do anything going first even, and going second, it also doesn't do much. You have to wait till you persona right and get 3 arena in the auto zone for you to actually benefit. If you just never hit the 3 arena, you die. And of course, last but not least, I don't have to explain, this deck has really bad plussing. You do get a draw from Rotovisor's skill, but as for the cost of CB2, you do get a draw from Compassionate Mechanic, which is an EB3 draw 1, but everything else in between, you don't draw, you don't superior call, you don't do squat. So this deck, even though it was meant to be a Nova Grappler style multi-attack, it didn't come with the traditional plussings that you know Nova Grappler for. The only thing you had in the arenas, and the arenas were on hit for either a quick burst of resources, or in the later on arena, you actually got an EB3 draw 1. Now, while the EB3 draw 1 was pretty effective in helping you draw, the problem is EB3 is very expensive, so you actually don't get to use this skill much in the game. In fact, you barely get to use this one at all. From further testing, it's only like a 1 to 2 off in the deck, and you only need at most 1 on the field. Most of them is going to be this, so that you can continue your plays. So that is the state of Rotovisor that we left him off at. The question is, did we fix these problems? And I'm going to go through 2 cards that I believe solve these problems, at least a large majority. The first, and the honorary tournament promo, the main reason why we even started this video, is this guy. So this guy is called Eldritch Gowinner, and this is what it's called in the Japanese. They may translate it differently. Gowinner. That is a hilarious name, by the way. Thank you, Kidani. Thank you. So what does this guy do? Well, Eldritch Gowinner is a very interesting card because it's a tournament promo, right? This will be the first card in my collection with the serial year of, I don't know if this camera can catch it. It should say 2025. Yeah. So yeah, this is my first video with a 2025 card. I am very happy. But does he live up to the new age? Well, when his unit is placed on the Vanguard circle, counterblast 1, search your deck for 1 arena card, reveal it and add it to your hand. If your opponent's Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, and the arena was not put into your order zone this turn, choose an arena card from your hand, and you may put it in the order zone. Now, at the first arena skill, it's a CB1, add an arena from deck to hand. And it's not even restricted to like a name, right? It's not restricted to Rotovisor. You can just add this in any deck that needs to search for, an arena card, and you can just do that. Of course, it is tied to Nova Grapplers and arenas, that's the whole point of the arena, but it is pretty interesting that skill is not locked at all. You can use this as early as turn 2 to beat down if you wanted to, but the rest of this skill's strength comes from the second half of the on place, which is if your opponent's Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, and an arena was not put in your order zone this turn, you can actually install an arena from your hand to the order zone directly. Now, I'm gonna talk about this slowly just so that the power of this card can set in. You already have an arena at the start of your third turn, right? You set that on turn 2. It's the arena you search from this guy, right? From your Wasier. When Wasier rides on top of Eldia, you search for one arena and you set it, correct? You ride up to grade 3, you call one of your promo, and you generally already have one arena on the field. You can now superior set a second arena on the field thanks to his skill. And then generally speaking, because this is the Brandt Gate based deck, you need to play a field spells, you would install a third on turn 3. Now what this means is that you have 3 arenas on turn 3. And the implications of that is the entire deck. I'm going to say that again. Huh? The entire deck can now go online one entire turn earlier. It's insane. So what this means is that it's basically a superior setter like Z-Lance, but Z-Lance can't really cheat the condition because he doesn't have a promo that does this yet. But we do. We already have this guy, and with this guy's effect, you can trigger the full effect of Groundsale Rotovisor as well as Traban Rotovisor to not only gain 15,000 power to the whole board for free, you can restand 3 of your rear guards, you can stand all your arenas, you can draw extra cards, all because you already achieved the 3 arena condition going second. It is unbelievable. I mean, for the longest time, even in the previous Rotovisor video, I stressed that once this deck gets a way to superior set, the deck's power level will go up by a lot. And I think it really does. I think having the 3 arena going second is really, really good. I cannot stress that to you. It puts this deck on such a speed timer. You'll be breaking people's teeth earlier. Your whole kill turns, the whole game earlier. It's insane. But unfortunately, this is not a good card. Because with second skill, on the back row rearguard circle, if you have a grade 3 or greater Vanguard with Rotovisor in its card name, this unit gains 2,000 power, and your other rearguards in the same column as this unit cannot be retired by your opponent's card effects. That is his second skill. I don't understand how you could print one of the best on places in Brandt Gate history and completely fail the second skill. Okay, it gets 2k, fine, it's a 10k booster, when you have a grade 3 or greater Vanguard. What is the retire protection for? What? I don't get it. Who's this meant for? That's the part I'm stuck at. We don't have any retire matchups besides Vanguard Dragenesis, but you are already losing to Vanguard Dragenesis, right? Because of the weaknesses of this deck, which is it does not have plussing. So even if you protect your front row from retire, it's not gonna matter crap. You're still losing. Not only that, you have Messiah in this meta, right? You have stuff like Graham Grace in this meta, just my previous video. You have Levidra still, you have Odium, you have Love and Berry, you have Abisu. Retire protection is like the last thing this deck needs. This deck is still lacking, but you chose to give it retire protection. It's not good, but the on-play skill is so powerful to this deck. Getting arenas, not only search from your deck, but installed going second earlier is so good that this deck definitely has gone up by at least 2 tiers in my opinion, from tier 8 to tier 6, just with this card alone. I genuinely believe that this guy will be the linchpin to Rotovisor's success this year. If Rotovisor gets more stuff to do, this will be one of the main reasons why this deck will be meta. But, my dear friends, I'm not going to make a video just to whine about another tournament promo. The last time I did that at Valjuda, nobody liked it. So, I'm here to give you the other half of my research. This guy. This is Orbital Chain. How do I say that? Sorry. This is Orbit Chain Brandisher from DZBTO6 Generation Dragenesis. And this guy is the other half of the reason why I'm doing this video alongside my DZBTO6. Okay, so in case you're wondering, did Rotovisor get support in DZBTO6? Not really. But this guy, I'm making an argument for him. This card is one of those comments that people always write on Reddit or Twitter nowadays. They send the Hikari face in bed, they write plus 5k, then they clap to themselves and says, wow, I'm freaking hilarious. They go home to their 2 wives and 3 children and they have a nice dinner. No, this is different. This is not pack filler. This thing is a killer. Let me explain. When this unit attacks, when boosted, if any player has a lock card, which Rotovisor doesn't lock, but if your order zone has a set order, that's the other condition that you can fulfill, cost energy blast 3, and all of your front row rearguard, all of your front row units gain 5,000 power until the end of the turn. I'm going to say it again. When this unit attacks when boosted, if any player has a lock card, or if you have a set order, which you do, EB3, and all of your front row units gain 5 to end of the turn. This guy, even though as weak as he is an 8k base, he turns on a pocket crest for you. Not great restricted at all. If Rotovisor somehow becomes super aggressive, you can do this on turn 2. But we all know that's not what I'm here to talk about. With this, right? With this turning on a plus 5k to the front row, and Rotovisor's 5 attacks, all 5 of your attacks will gain an additional 5,000 power, even going first. That means irrespective of the promo, even if you are unable to superior set, this guy will give 5k to the front row for EB3. And EB3, as we know, is not a big issue because Rotovisor has a very dynamic energy economy. Again, please check the link in the description below for the previous Rotovisor video. You'll understand what I mean. This thing, right, this one common, right, basically, it needs to be boosted. And the previous Rotovisor video, I mentioned how there was no good grade 1s in Rotovisor, right? That was the biggest problem of this deck, is that it didn't have a dynamic booster. I suggested Roy Astroverse from DBT09, but he's kind of fallen out of favor now that Eldritch Kawina is also another grade 1 that costs Counterblast. Baldrit is also not a solution because he's only around for 1 turn. After that, he's a net 0 and you're going to lose tempo. Now, the thing is, with a dynamic grade 1, in a really strong grade 2 unit that needs to be boosted, by boosting Orbital Chain Brandisher with Eldritch Kawina, it's 8 plus 10. Right, so he gains, let me see if I bought some of these, I hope this helps you. So he gains 2,000 power, and then this guy is going to give another 5,000 power. Oh, you can't see, another 5,000 power. There you go. He gives 5,000 power to all your front row units, including all 5 attacks. All 5 attacks that you are going to make on turn 2 against your opponent's grade 2 10k Vanguard now gain an additional 5k for EB3. Again, it doesn't look like very much, right? It's a very deceptive card, but the scaling on this thing is insane. Going second, right? You remember going second, right? If you went second, and now that you have this guy, you now get his continuous skill, which is with 3 or more arenas, all of your front units gain 5. This guy is going to give him another 5, and then you're going to CB2 and stand 3 units, and they are all going to get another 5. Then you can trigger Traban, Rotovisor, CB1, all your front row gains another 10. Again, these are numbers that can rival even Chrono Jet's Strike deck set, which should set in some level of, expectations on what the power level of this deck is. With Orbit Chain Brandisher, as well as Eldritch Kawina, truly this is a terrifying sight to behold. I've tried it myself. I've actually been winning a lot more games than I expected to win. I think this is insane. I'm really, really glad that, I went back to take a look at these at BTO6, and I know there's like 1 to 2 other Rotovisor players that have caught on to this tech. I want to help the rest of you. I want to tell you this stuff is in the set as a common, and you can benefit from it as well. Now, the big last question is, what is the remaining weaknesses of this deck? Because in case you still haven't realized yet, this guy spends EB3 for just power. This guy is in net 0 CB1 search for an arena. There is clearly still something missing, and you're right, it's plussing. Rotovisor's pieces from this video that I'm covering, the 2 that I'm covering, as well as the rest covered in the previous video, links in the description, they are slowly rising in quality. The Rotovisor pieces are slowly getting better and better in archetype. It's going to hit a critical mass. It's going to reach a point where these guys are good enough to beat and form a cohesive strategy for at least tier 3. And I'm really excited for that. The issue is, this deck has no plussing. These guys don't plus. These guys don't draw into each other. These guys don't call each other. These guys don't even call themselves. This deck still needs you to hard open this, and this at minimum, and this for you to play the game at a basic level. And not only that, you need to ensure your Vanguards do not die. Please, if you comment, Elwich Garina has a retire protection effect, please don't be an idiot. You have lock, you have bind, you have attack into targets with, Lozitonia. You have so many ways for your units to perish nowadays. Control is high. Gunnivar is back. You don't have a chance. He doesn't even protect himself. You can just burn him first and then burn the rest of the board. It don't matter. But again, this is the last leg of Rotovisor's issues. If they can just settle the plussing issue of this deck, give it a draw, give it a superior call itself, I don't care. Anything that resembles a plus to this deck, and I really believe Rotovisor can finally be playable. And that's really where I'm going to end this video off at. When I did that video back last year, the Rotovisor video from DZBTO5, I genuinely had no clue what they were going to do. I spoke about what they could do. I didn't know what they would do. The fact that they moved so swiftly to create a card like Outreach Winner and having a hidden gem in the form of Orbital Chain Brandisher literally in the next set as a common, a pack filler as what the children call it, it shocks me. It really does that we just have cards like these lying around. I thought we were way past the era of, good commons or commons with secret uses. Apparently not. We are back. And it really does give me hope that even though we go through so many COTDs with, pack filler and whatnot, and so many weird tournament promos, that you can actually put together a coherent and good support wave out of literal nothing. I guarantee you, at least half of you have not even heard of either of these two cards before you clicked on this video. And if you're even still watching till now, if you are, please leave a comment. I'd like to know who you are. I am surprised that I had a chance to even play this deck with this support myself. I am so blown away. The same way I was blown away playing Vibatsuka, I genuinely feel the same way playing these guys. It really solves Rotovisor's numbers problem, his beatdown problem, his finishing problem. It is just that good. But of course, the biggest issue for Rotovisor is plussing, because he cannot plus. And in this meta with Levidras, for those of you who know what Levidras does, it is a huge problem, right? And there are other decks that can also do the same thing as you, going second but better, like Strike deck sets, Graham Graves, Far of New, anything. Even freaking Dragonic Overlord can beat us now, which is sad. I won't deny it is sad. And I'm ending this video just one more time. I am calling out to Bushiroad, I'm calling out to Kinani. Please, clearly you guys watched something I put out, that's why you made this promo. Please, I beg you, can you please just release me the very last Rotovisor Grade 2 double rare from DZBTO8? I will do anything. Just make it plus, make it to get advantage, anything. And we can talk at the business table. Please, I really need this card more than you ever imagined. I will bring this deck to WGP. I promise you, just make this deck playable. Because it is so painful to see a deck so fun and so tied together by nostalgia and history of Nova Grappler, but yet it ain't so good. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Take care.